Hi guys, it's Kelly here, and I am thrilled to be playing along with the Pretty Pink Posh product release. This is for August of 2016. Today I'm going to be working with Blissful Butterflies and Rainy Day Editions. I also have the original Rainy Days, which is totally adorable, but this is the new add-on to that. So I love me some butterflies. I think that they are one of the most versatile stamps that you can use, and this one is completely adorable. So I'm stamping that in some Simon Says Stamp Intense Black ink because it is Copic safe. I'm going to do some masking because this is going to be a one layer panel. So I'm just going to move those masks around and keep stamping to make sure everything, there's no overlapping. That's weird, but overlapping, that's pretty. So usually what I do, I cut a regular size card panel, and then you can see as I was stamping, it started to get very off center. So once I'm done stamping, I'll just cut that down. So leaving those butterfly masks in place, I started adding in some of the clouds to the background. I love anything that is a black and white stripe, and black and white with bright colors makes me super happy. So I think that this cloud is absolutely adorable with that little diagonal stripe. Thought it would be cute to put them behind the butterflies and just kind of build a, I don't even want to call it a scene, but like a little focal point for your card. So I'm going to start by working on the clouds first. I prefer to do my clouds so that they have a little bit of shape to them. Now, because these already have a pattern in them, you could totally leave them and they would be cute on their own. I just wanted to add in a little bit of color because I knew that my butterfly color was going to be pretty strong. So the way that I do my clouds is I shade them with grays, and then I like to add in blues or purples or blue-greens, some pink. I just think that that's pretty. This time I only did grays and blues. I knew there was going to be a lot of color on here, so I wanted to keep it at least that part pretty simple, plus that pattern already made it busy. So here I'm just basically lengthening any of the indentations of the clouds where they're nice and bumpy and fluffy. I'm just kind of extending those into the cloud to give it a little bit more shape. I'm also drawing little like half moons or circles in the center of them so that there appears to be cloud like layered upon each other. And I just, did that to all of the clouds. There wasn't really any rhyme or reason. Clouds are pretty simple to do. So we're going to start with the first butterfly. And originally I thought I was just going to use 3 colors. It ended up not being enough contrast for me, so I did add a 4th. But so I wanted to, again, I was telling you, butterflies, completely versatile. You can color them any way you want to, because there's all different kinds of butterflies. I kept it pretty simple for my coloring on this one. I decided that my darkest point was going to be the closest to the body for this particular one. And then I just, with a really light hand, using the feathering technique, I built up my color. So from lightest to darkest, darkest back out to my lightest. This one is a little more tricky because I did add in that 4th color, and I didn't really, it blended by itself. Like I didn't really feel like I needed to blend it out. One of the things that I like to do with my lightest color, especially when it's something that this light, I like to bring it in from the top down. Here's that 4th color I was talking about, and I just added a little bit, and it was just enough to give that butterfly a bit more depth. Yellows are really, really hard for me, particularly. I have a hard time getting a lot of depth with them. I'm still trying to find that like magical combination that is always going to work for me. So with the oranges, the oranges you can kind of play with a little bit, like what you want your contrast color to be. I like a red. You can also do a brown. That would work as well for just whatever you want that dark contrast color to be. So with the orange one, I decided I was going to leave the highlight in the center of the wings, and this is just going to give it a more round look. Like I said before, you can pretty much color them any way that you want to. I did the butterflies with the darker part more concentrated in the center. I did it this way with the highlight in the middle, and then I also did it with the dark part on the wing tips. Because there are so many different types, species of butterflies, you can basically do whatever you want. Another thing that's fun to do with these is it's a really good way to learn color blending. So blending 2 different families. Butterflies are great for that. And if you decide to do that, you just want to make sure that you pick two colors that are going to blend well together. Don't pick like a pink and a green. Like that's not going to be pretty. You got to have a color in between there. So then for my last color, I picked some violets. And the reason that I did this is because working complementary colors or tertiary colors to colors that are next to each other and then one that is across, those are usually your best bet for something that's going to look good together. So the orange and the blue are complementary colors, and the yellow and the purple are complementary colors. The orange and the yellow, and then either the purple or the blue, depending upon how you look at it, are like the, I don't even think is the, maybe the tertiary colors. Maybe you should not listen to my terminology. That's what I think right now. Maybe you should not listen to my terminology. But anyway, because they're next to each other and then the purple's across, they're all still good to go. So anywho, this one I colored the same way that I colored it the first one, and just left that dark in the center. But there was some other ones where I left the tips darker, and I tried to I tried to work in odd numbers just because they're more pleasing to the eye. So there's just a couple of little tricks that you can use to kind of help yourself out. Once I had all of the coloring done for the main images, I wanted to add a background. I picked 4 different blues, and I'm just going to outline so it kind of builds up a background. Another way you could do this would be to mask your images and do distress inks, or if you were working on watercolor paper, you could just paint around the objects and do a background. But this is what works for me with Copics. So you have to be careful when you're doing your first color because that's the one that's right up close. But after that, you can go pretty quick. So I just laid them all on top of each other, and then for the last color, I am feathering it out so that it blends nicely into the white and I don't have a super harsh line. So because I put them on top of each other, lighter colors always pull up the pigment of the darker colors with Copics. So it just helps give a nicer blend. Here I'm going to start adding some detail into the butterflies. This is my favorite part of the butterflies because you can add dots with a white gel pen. You can add stripes. You can add other little details that make them different from everybody else's butterflies and makes that card more your own. So I did some dots on some, and then I drew in some white lines on others. Just, kind of mixed it up so that the butterflies looked different. Now, after I was done with the white gel pen and drawing all of those in, and this was just to give me a guide, like kind of a once over, because the white is easier to cover up. After I had everything kind of where I wanted it, then I went back in with a black writing pen. This is Copic Safe. And then I reinforced those. So I actually put the lines down. Sometimes black can be a little bit overwhelming because once you put it down, it's down. So I used the white to give myself a guide in my drawing or my doodling so that I know where it's going to go. Like even on the yellow, like you can't even see it on camera where I had put the white, but I can see it. And that's what I'm tracing. And then after I outline everything with the black lines, I will take my white gel pen and go back in to fill in those areas so that they're solid. And then you'll really start to see, the new patterns on the butterflies that make them different from every other butterfly, that we would stamp. And Pretty Pink Posh has given us a great base because this butterfly is just adorable. To kind of bring those butterflies out from the clouds, I'm going to add in just a little bit of a shadow. I usually do my shadow so that my light source is in the top right, so the shadow would be to the bottom left. I picked a C5 and then blended it out with a C3, and it's because I knew that all of the shadow was going to be on top of other colors. The C1 you wouldn't even be able to see. And that's just going to pop them up just a little bit. And this is me just blending them out with the C3 just super quick because you already have your baseline down. Now I'm going to go ahead and stamp the sentiment. If you've ever seen any of my videos before, you have seen this trick before. If not, you're probably going to be terrified right about now. So I'm stamping this in Black Simon Says Stamping because it's a really good crisp ink for sentiments. And you'll notice that you can really not read that hello whatsoever. We're going to fix that with the white gel pen just by giving it a little bit of an outline. If you have a little wiggly line or you get a little overzealous with the white, you can always go back in with a black pen and fix that, and then it just helps pop it up off the page. I'm going to add in some clear sequins. These are also from Pretty Pink Posh. These are my favorite clear sequins to work with. Just some, I think it's a 6 and a 4 millimeter. That's the, the super tiny ones. And then that is the whole card. That's the panel, and I just mounted it on a white card base. And that's it. So thank you so much for joining me. There are giveaways. There will be a link below if you're watching on YouTube. So please be sure to head over if you're watching in August 2016. And that way you have a chance to win. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.